We are good to go, guys. Welcome to the call. Happy Monday. I hope everybody is blessed. I am excited to be here as I am each and every single week. And like I was just saying a few minutes ago, before we start doing the visions and stuff, I was talking about starting the calls every single week with a dose of somebody who has excelled to levels of mastery, because I believe that every person who's done something extraordinary, who's done something that's worth noting, they were masters at their craft. And Kobe Bryant was somebody who obviously, I mean, it's not even a question, the level of mastery that he had. And I want to read you this quote that I was reading this book that I got about Kobe. It's a couple actually, and then we're gonna get the call started. And something that he said was, there's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, there's a choice you have to make, a decision you have to make. We can all be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. What I mean by that is there are inherent sacrifices that come along with that. Family time, hanging out with friends, being a great friend, being a great son or daughter, nephew, whatever the case may be. There are sacrifices that come along with being a master. Something else that he also said that really stood out to me. He said that when we are saying that something cannot be accomplished, that this cannot be done, we are shortchanging ourselves. My brain, my mind, it cannot process failure. It will not process failure. Because if I have to sit there and face myself and tell myself that you are a failure, I think that is almost worse than dying. I think that is almost worse as dying. Me having to look myself in the mirror and say to myself, I failed. Kobe Bryant said that to him is almost worse than dying. But he said it takes sacrifices. If you want to be great at something, if you want to be a master at something, it takes sacrifice, right? And we talked last week a lot about mastery. And one thing I've learned about success is that success is spiritual. It's all mental. And Kobe Bryant even said it in the video that we were just watching. He said that somebody asked him a question, do you ever feel the pressure, or do you ever feel the challenge, or something along those lines? And Kobe said that he never felt the physical pressures. There were always mental pressures that tried to stop him from becoming successful, stop him from winning the game. See, it's not about the physical. It's all about the mentality. It's all about the mindset, right? And last week we talked a lot about the mind and things of that sort. But tonight I more so want to talk about an emotion that I feel is so important, right? And I believe that every person, like Kobe, like Michael Jordan, like LeBron, Jay-Z, Beyonce, doesn't matter the person you name, Kanye West, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Trump, don't matter if you like him or not. I believe that every person, right, that has done something great, that has achieved anything, it started with this emotion, and that emotion is desire. Kobe Bryant had the desire, he said in the video, I have the desire to be the greatest player of all time. I have the desire to be the greatest player of all time. So it's the desire that drives us. And here's the thing about desire. Here's what I learned about 8 months ago, and it changed everything for me. Probably a little over 8 months ago. Somebody drop in the chat what they think desire means. What do you think desire means? Drop it in the chat. Because this call is about to be really, really good. Drop in the chat what you think desire means. Somebody says belief, the starting point of all achievement. What do you really want in life? Dedication, the strong feeling, an obsession, passion, strong feeling, a want for something. All of that is 100% right, without a doubt, right? A burning obsession or a magnificent obsession, something that drives me, something that I cannot stop thinking about, that thing that I really, really believe in my heart. That's what desire means. The actual definition from Wikipedia says the strong feeling of wanting to have something. A strong feeling of wanting to have something, right? But my next question for you, and this is where it gets really good. Where do you think desires come from? What if I told you that where desires come from is literally in the word desire? See, if you break down desire, it's two words. The first word is duh. And what that means is of or from. The second word means sire, right? That's the second word, is sire. But what that word means is of male parents of an animal. Or it can also mean, watch this, the archaic definition of sire. Here's what the archaic definition of sire means. It means a respectful form of address for someone of high social status, especially a king. King of glory, fill this place. Desire. So what it means is literally from the Father, from the King. So what if I told you the thing that you desire was placed there? What if I told you the thing that you want, God wants you to have it? Because that's what desire means when you break down the word. It means from the Father. But it doesn't necessarily, this is where it gets really good, because desires are so strong and desires work both ways. It didn't say which father it was from, because there's also another father, and that father is known as the father of lies. And that father is also spirit as well. So what if some of the things that you could be desiring right now, the desire to sleep late, the desire to, not show the plan, the desire to do opposite of what you know you're supposed to do. What if that desire came from the Father as well, but it wasn't the King? What if it was the father of lies? Because your desires, they don't come from you. You're not your own. Your desires come from somewhere else. So my question for you is, what do you desire? Because the desire is the starting point of all achievement. Everything that has been done, everything that has been accomplished, it started from a desire. A desire is a thought. A desire is a focus. And we've all heard what the text says, but we only hear the second part. We only hear the second part. And the second part says that I will give you the desires of your heart. That's what we all say. I will give you the desires of your heart. But that is what you call a conditional promise, meaning there's conditions that have to be fulfilled before that promise of I will give you the desires of your heart is fulfilled. And the condition that goes with that is what it says is delight yourself in the Lord, in God, and I will give you then the desires of your heart. But the thing is, he is the one that puts the desire there. So the thing that you want to see happen in your life, the thing that you feel is in your heart that is for you, it is for you. And the thing that we often desire also desires us. But there are things that we have to do as well. And it says delight. So I had to look up what the word delight means, right? And the word delight means to please someone greatly. If you're tracking with me, let me know you're tracking with me in the chat box. Just say, I'm with you. I'm with you, Cool Jones. All right, because I really need you to get this. Because one of the emotions that you have to master, remember, we're talking about mastery, we're talking about momentum, and then we're talking about manifestation. But one of the desires that have to be mastered is the emotion. I mean, one of the emotions that have to be mastered is the emotion of desire, because desire is an emotion. Desire is a thought. It's a feeling, right? And what was I saying? It says to please someone greatly, right? So I said, okay, cool. I said, okay, cool. How do you please God? And then I kept reading. And then it said, it's impossible to please God without faith. So then it clicked to me to know that I can't have a true desire if I don't have faith. Watch this. A desire is impressed upon the subconscious mind through a feeling. The desire is impressed upon the subconscious mind, AKA your God mind. I believe that God lives in your subconscious mind. I like to call it the supernatural mind. This is the mind that has feeling, right? So the desire is impressed upon the supernatural mind. And watch this. Faith is what holds the idea of the desire in spirit until it takes physical form. So for me to have a true desire, there has to be faith on the back of it. For me to have a true desire, there has to be faith on the back of it. So I can't just have the desire without a whole lot of faith. But my faith will also require me to work. But we ain't got there yet. So watch this. How do I know if I have a desire? If I have a desire, it's something that I'm constantly thinking about. Right? I'm constantly thinking about it. It's dominating my thoughts. It's dominating my mind. If I have a true desire, it's dominating my conversation. It always finds a way to pop up in my conversation. I can tell what somebody desires when we have conversation because it always shows up. Because watch this, whatever I constantly think about, whatever is dominating my mind will slowly begin to creep its way into my subconscious mind. What is my subconscious mind known as? The heart. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will always speak. So if my desire has dominated my way of thinking, if my desire has dominated my mindset, then it'll also dominate in conversation. Meaning when I talk to people, they'll be able to hear in conversation the things that I want. I'm not talking about what everybody else is talking about. I'm talking about the things that I desire. I'm talking about the things that I write down on paper because it's dominating my mind. And if I'm talking about it all the time, if I'm putting it out into the universe all the time, guess what else is going to start happening? I'm going to start seeing the thing that I desire. I'm going to start seeing the thing that I desire. If it's a car, if it's a home, right? If it's a type of, I don't know, husband or wife you want to be with, I don't know. If it's dominating your thinking and dominating your words, you're going to start seeing it out there. You're going to start seeing it around you. Because it says that I'll confirm my word with signs. I confirm my word with signs. That's why it was like last year when we was on that whole bamboo season thing, I was literally seeing bamboo everywhere. Everywhere I looked, I saw bamboo. But you know what I dominate my mind with now? I am ready to perform my word. I dominate my mind with that. I am ready to perform my word. So if you see me posting 112 on social media, that's what I'm talking about because that's the text, Jeremiah 1:12. I'm ready to perform my word. So I'm dominating my mind with that so it can dominate in my words. And then I'm going to start seeing the physical manifestation of God performing his word. But watch this. I don't just think it, and I don't just have conversation about it. I don't just, talk about it, and I don't just see it. You know what else will start happening? I'll get a feeling. Because faith always has a feeling. Faith always has feelings. I'm going to get a feeling. And let's go back to what I just said. Desire is impressed upon the subconscious mind through feeling. So it's not enough for me to just see it. It's not enough for me to just think about it. It's not enough for me to just talk about it. I have to embody what it feels like to be a chairman. I have to embody what it feels like to be a six-figure earner. I have to embody what it feels like to be whatever it is that you want to be. You have to embody the feeling and take on it and stop. This is what people do. People think of the thing, but they don't think from the thing. You don't think of the home. You think of yourself living in the home. You don't think of the Bentley. You think of yourself in the Bentley. You don't think of yourself with the seven-figure bank account, right? You think of yourself from it, like I walk as if I already have it. But guess what that requires? That requires faith. Another emotion that you got to master. See, success is very spiritual. JVL will always come up to me. He'll always say, bro, I see why. He came to my home this weekend. He said, bro, I see why y'all the way y'all are. I'm starting to get it, starting to make sense. I see why you're always at peace. I see why you always talk about the spirituality. I see. It's because that is the 90% side of success. Kobe Bryant just said it. He said, I don't worry about whether I can play the game and win. I worry if I have the mental capacity to lead. Do I have the mental capacity to motivate my organization? Motivate my team? That's what Kobe said, the greatest. So it's not necessarily the physical. It's not just showing the plan. It's not just trading. It's not just prospecting. It's the feeling that you have while you're doing it. Because if the feeling that you have is not the right feeling, you could be working in reverse. So again, what is it that you desire? Because remember, the desire comes from the Father, and the good desire, the things that draw you closer to your goals, draw you closer to purpose, draw you closer to the success, that is from God. Any desire that takes you away from what I just said is from the father of lies. And watch this, any desire that gets filling, any desire that gets momentum will be the desire that manifests. It don't matter what the desire is. It don't matter if it's a good desire or a bad desire. It don't matter if it's a desire that can take you to purpose or if it's a desire that can drag you to hell. Don't matter what it is. If it gets filling, AKA momentum, then that is what's going to manifest in your life. So what do you desire? Again, desire, a burning obsession, is something that you can't stop thinking about. It dominates conversation. You're always talking about it. You feel it. You're always seeing it. It's dominating your life. See, you can't try to fit a desire in. If you got a real desire, you can't try to fit it in your schedule. You can't try to fit it in. You build everything around the desire. So like my biggest desire is God, right? So I build everything around that desire. See, God is too big to fit in. And because my biggest desire is God, God gives me my heart's desires. So as I want what he wants for me, he gives me what I want, or he gives me what to want. Is this making sense? If it's too deep for you, I'll come back to shallow waters if you need me to. If it's too deep for you, I'll come back to the 3 feet if you need me to. Right? I hope you can swim. Because I don't know anything but this. I don't know any other way to create success but this. I don't know any other way to get to a household income of $90,000 a month but this. This is all I know. So if it's too deep for you, I'm sorry. Somebody throw on a life vest because you got to be out here with us. You got to be out here with us. Because watch this. Let's say I am too deep for you. What you should want right now is a desire, or you should have a hunger for more. Because watch this. If you don't desire to have more, if you don't desire to know more, if you don't desire to feel more, then where you are right now is where you'll always be. If you don't have a desire to be anything other than what you are right now and to desire more than what you have right now, where you are right now is where you forever will be. So if you're in the shallow waters, I advise you to come out to the deep with me. Because if you get this, your life is going to change. Now watch this. Desire, it's impressed upon the subconscious mind through feeling. Faith is what holds the idea of desire in spirit in my mind until it takes form, until it manifests physically. What holds the idea of the desire? Faith. What does faith do? Faith requires me to work. What? Faith requires you to work. This stuff just don't come to you. It says faith without works is dead. And I love that David had looked the word work up, right? Because when he looked the word work up, watch this. This is the definition that he got. Activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. Activity involving mental. Mental effort, physical effort. So faith requires you to work. Now watch this. This is what it says in Proverbs. I just love the Bible so much, right? Because this is how you build a house on a strong foundation and not sand. See, this is how my faith can be so strong because I understand, I know the secrets. You feel what I'm saying? And now guess what I do? I'm like Robin Hood in a sense. I come back and I give y'all the secrets. So if you don't know where they at, I'm going to give them to you. You just got to take notes and ride with me. Watch this. It says no matter your level of desire. Oh, this is so good. No matter your level of desire, pause. That lets me know that number one, desires have levels. Desires have levels, just like a lighter. If you light a lighter and you don't pull the flick all the way down, then there's a small little fire right there. But if you pull the flick all the way down, then a larger fire flame lights up. And so the amount of desire that you have is going to be based on how much force and also how much attention you're providing to that desire. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. But no matter your level of desire, the lazy will never win because their hands refuse to work. No matter your level of desire, no matter how big the desire is, no matter how small the desire is, if you're lazy, you will never win because their hands refuse to work. Faith holds the idea of desire in spirit until it takes form. Faith holds the idea. Faith without works is dead. So faith requires me to work because if I don't work, it doesn't matter my level of desire. Nothing can come to a lazy person. Whew. That's so good right there. Man, that's so good right there. It's also one in there, and it says that look at the ants, you lazy bones. That's what it says. Let me find it real quick because that wasn't even in my notes I got here, but it's just popped in my head. It says, look at the ants, you lazy bones. Where is that joint at? Where is that? I want to read that. Go to the ant, you lazy bones. Consider its ways and be wise. Without having a chief, without having an officer or ruler, it prepares its food in the summer and gathers its substance in the harvest. How long will you lie there, O lazy bones? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to the rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed warrior. My goodness. So it don't matter your level of desire. If you lazy, if you're not working, if you're not showing the plan, it don't matter what dream board you have around your home. It don't matter how many times you sit there and dream build. None of that matters if you're not working. None of that matters if you're not plugging in. None of that matters if you're not prospecting, presenting, doing what you got to do to build your business, working on the skills, because another area of mastery is skill set mastery. So you got to work. For any of this to work, you got to work. Your desire is everything. Your desire is everything, right? So if I don't have a desire, or if I have a desire, how do I continuously build it? And if I don't have a desire for something, or if I don't know if I got one, how do I build it? I believe the first thing to building a desire that's required is attention. 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 See, a desire that fulfills itself is always a desire in which attention is exclusively concentrated. Any desire that fulfills itself, that manifests, is always a desire in which attention is exclusively concentrated. Watch this, because whatever you give attention to is what you give increase to. Whatever you give attention to is what you give increase to. What you focus on expands. So another word for attention is focus. So if you want to build a desire in something, whether it's chairman, you give it your focus, you give it your attention. You want to build a desire to attract more money in your life. Well, guess what you do? You build focus. You build your focus up. You give it attention. Trading, attention. Doesn't matter what it is, you give it attention. Whatever you give attention to, you give increase to. So you got to fill your mind with the thing that you desire until what you desire fills you. You fill your mind with the things that you desire until what you desire fills you, until what you desire surrounds you, until that desire that you've had in your mind for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's all around you. So the first way you build your desire is through attention. The second way is through exposure. Exposure is so important. Exposure, I believe, is one of the most important things to a human being, because I believe a lack of exposure is lethal, but the right exposure can make you a legend. The lack of exposure is lethal, but the right exposure can make you legendary. I just wonder what my life would be like if I never got exposed to David. I wonder what some of you guys' life would be like if you've never got exposed to a Bryce Thompson before, if you've never been exposed to David or Alex, like if you never got exposed to success. I wonder how great Kobe Bryant would have been if he never would have gotten exposed to Michael Jordan and he was able to see what greatness looks like. Because when you get a glimpse of greatness, when you see somebody doing something that you haven't done yet, there's going to be a desire that begins to fill up in your heart, and you're going to want to do the same exact thing. I'm just imagining, man, this just dropped in my spirit. I'm just imagining when Jesus was walking on water to the disciples. And Peter was the one that said, yo, Jesus, the man that I've been with this whole time, the one that I saw do this and do that, all the miracles, is that you out there that I see defying the odds, walking on water? Because if that's you I see going chairman, if that's you I see with a 7-figure portfolio, if that's you I see walking on water, defying the laws of buoyancy, if you're doing that, I want to do that. And if it's you, tell me to come. Because you can't get exposed to greatness and not want it for yourself. That was so, you can't get exposed to greatness and not want it for yourself. You can't get exposed to people defying the odds and doing the impossible and doing the incredible, and something in you not want it for yourself. And it was only Peter that got out of the boat to decide to walk on water, but it was 11 other disciples sitting there. And I guarantee you, when they saw Peter get up, they probably wanted to get up too. But once Peter sunk, guess what they did? The fear probably came up in them and said, you know what? I told Peter not to go out there. I told Peter not to go out there. But I guarantee you, when they saw him walking on water, they said, dang, it's my turn now. Because you can't get exposed to something of that magnitude and you not want it for yourself. That's why you have to expose yourself to more than what you're currently getting in your environment right now. Like, man, people ask me all the time, bro, can I come, shadow you? Can I come, hang out with you? I'm like, bro, you're going to be super bored, like very bored, because I'm a very mundane person. I legit watch YouTube all day. So if you want to come and watch YouTube with me all day, bro, we can set up a Zoom call and we can just watch it together. You feel what I'm saying? Because what I'm doing is I'm constantly building the desire. I'm constantly learning new information. I'm constantly working on mastery, getting better. I'm just a student. Like Ebony was just over here yesterday, and I'm in student. I'm exposing myself to all the homes, $10 million homes, $20 million homes, $30 million homes. But I'm not looking at it saying, that's a nice home. I'm looking at it saying, yo, babe, 3 years from now, that's where we at with it. So we're not looking at it, thinking of it, we're thinking from it. We're imagining ourselves walking up the steps of the home. Like, it was so funny. I was looking at a $9 million home yesterday, right? And in the kitchen, by the stove, they had a sink right between the stove, right? And they said the reason they put the sink between the stove is because you know how when you're cooking, you got to go to the sink, turn the water on, put water in the pot, then come back to the stove and put it on the stove. They put a sink right there, so you don't even got to turn your back. You can just turn the water on in the pot, then put it on the stove. I said, now that's beautiful, because I don't cook, but I do get tired of turning my back to get the hot dogs and putting them on the stove. So I would love, God, if you can work it out for me, where I can have a sink on the stove. And if it ain't for me, it's for the chef. I got a chef. So maybe my chef can use that. I'm constantly exposing myself to more. You dig what I'm like? Now I don't want a regular sink anymore. Now I know when I get the house built, it gotta have the sink between the stove. Why? Because I got exposed to more. Exposure. Last one, experiences. Experiences. Man, there's some things that you won't even understand until you experience it. There's some things that you won't learn until experience is the greatest teacher. And you don't even know if that desire that you really have is a desire until you experience it. It's kind of like this. Let's say you had a desire to ride roller coasters, but you've never ridden a roller coaster before, but you see it on TV. You got exposed to it, so you think you have a desire for it because you got exposed to people on roller coasters. So that's one way to build a desire, through exposure. I saw it, I want to do it. But you really don't know if the desire is confirmed until you experience it. Because let's say I take you to Six Flags and we get on a ninja ride. And you've been to Atlanta before, you know that ninja give you a headache, right? So let's say I take you to Six Flags and you get on a roller coaster and you have an experience on a roller coaster and you get off the roller coaster. And let's just say that was not the experience that you really wanted to have. The desire that was in your heart before for the roller coaster, it goes away. Why? Because you got the experience. You may not desire to have a sink in between your stove right now. But when you see what it looked like, you might want to have a sink in between your stove because it's convenient. You may not desire the Bentley right now because you think you're comfortable in your car. But when you go sit in the Bentley, when you go back to your car, you're going to feel a little bit different. I'm going to Houston, Texas tomorrow. I'm going to be with David for 2 days, right? And I know that, so David just bought 2 new Rolls Royces. He bought matching Rolls Royces, right? So I drive a BMW. I know when I go sit in his Rolls Royces and they got carpet, like velvet in there, and it's all custom and stuff. When I come back to my car, guess what? I'm gonna be like, you know what? In about 4 months, we just gonna go ahead and grab the Bentley. I already know that's where I'm at with it. So I'm already preparing to go ahead and get the Bentley by my birthday, because I know when I go sit in his cars, I'm not gonna want to drive the BMW anymore. Why? Because I'm having new experiences. So the desire that you want to build, you're going to build it through giving it attention, because whatever you give attention to, you give increase to. But then it's going to happen from you exposing yourself to the thing that you desire, exposing yourself to more on YouTube, Dream Build, in person, go to the dealerships, go to the home. We talk about it all the time, but do you really do it? Have you done it yet? And then experiences. Some things won't make sense to you until you experience it. Some things you won't really understand until you experience it. You don't really know if you even want certain things until you go out there and experience it. So we're talking about mastery to have momentum, and we need momentum to have manifestation. But if we don't master the things that we need to master, then we won't see the momentum that we want to see. And then we won't have the manifestation that we want to have, the lifestyle leap, the supernatural increase, the acceleration, bamboo season, all the stuff that we're talking about. 112, I'm ready to perform my word. It doesn't happen without us doing what we have to do, understanding our emotions, mastering our mind, mastering the skill set, building momentum in all areas of our life to create a manifestation of the things that we desire. So take some time this week and focus on building that desire. Really get intentional. As you're falling asleep tonight, watch the home. Look at the homes. In your most sleepy state, look at the cars, because your mind, your subconscious mind, your God mind is going to receive it even more. Your subconscious mind is the most receptive when you're sleepy or when you're just now waking up. That's when it will receive anything, right? So as you're going to sleep tonight, do it for the rest of the week. Create a habit out of it. I do this every day. It's a habit of visualizing myself in the thing that I desire, not just thinking of it, not just seeing it, but putting myself in the state. And it's the feeling, because it's not $1 million that you want. It's the feeling of having $1 million that you really want. It's not chairman that you really want. It's the feeling of being a chairman that you really want. So you can create the feeling before it physically shows up. And once you create the feeling for it, it accelerates to your life. So with that being said, I love you all, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. I will see you at the beaches and the banks. Good night. God bless.